The United States Peace Corps volunteers work with local communities in areas such as health, agriculture, special education, and development planning. Now this morning, we take a look at what goes behind such partnership, specifically in the area of disaster preparedness. Joining us this morning, Julian Grifee, Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Program Officer with the U.S. Peace Corps, and Bryant Wong, Chief of Pasig City DRRMO. Hi guys, it's a beautiful day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I'm excited to talk about this because this is something, like I mentioned, we don't have in the show. Peace. So can you please clarify to my partner Paolo over here and to our viewers, because this is just a U.S. thing, what actually is the Peace Corps and what do you guys do? And why are you here? Because I understand you're from the U.S.
Yep.
Yes,
Indeed.
so let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm part of the U.S. Peace Corps. It was established by John F. Kennedy back in 1961. We have gone to numerous countries around the world since 1961. Currently, I believe we're at over 60 posts around the world. The Philippines, from my understanding, is the second oldest post in the world. We've had thousands of volunteers serve here in this particular country. This is actually my second assignment. So I did urban planning for 2.5 years in Albania in Southeast Europe back in 2016 to 2018. So I'm here on a shorter assignment with Pasig City DRRMO for 7 months.
Well, of course, when you talk about the Peace Corps, they also work a lot with the, well, at least here in the Philippines, the local government units. At Sir Bryant, when you talk about yung partnership ninyo with the Peace Corps, typically, ano yung mga focus po ninyo?
So, what we focus, syempre, ang disaster management. So, Julian is here to help us sa disaster management as an urban planner. So, it's like they give us recommendation, new ideas, and syempre, we want to learn from them, and they also want to learn from us. So, two sides, ano naman yun, bigayan lang.
Now, Julian, it's so interesting to me that you were in Albania before this, and you've been to over 50 countries, correct?
Yeah, I've been around the block a little bit.
Wow, just a little bit. So what inspired you to lead this kind of life?
I would probably attest it honestly. So I'm half American, half Visayan. My mom is from Cebu, and then my dad was in the military. So I think just that upbringing, a blending of different places that I've heard stories from them about. I actually academically urban planning and geography. So when we went to school together in the States, which is wild to see 12 years later.
I know.
This is my classmate from 12 years ago.
Yeah, by the way, guys, we literally went to school together in North Carolina. We sound alike.
So we met back in 2013. That's when I was majoring in geography. I've just always been infatuated with other cultures, development, city planning, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, on that note, obviously the big news that we're still discussing when it comes to disaster risk reduction in particular, it's still Myanmar and Thailand. And the Philippines is very famously known for, at least the Metro Manila area, for the West Valley Fault that runs through Metro Manila that we're all concerned with even until now. Has your conversations with the Pasig LGU actually revolved around that? How has the latest development over in our ASEAN neighbors affected your discussions that you've had with Pasig?
Yeah, absolutely. So back on the side of the states where I grew up, we're more frequented by typhoons and baguios, so that's basically been more so of my expertise.
Yeah.
Of course, naturally, conversations have gone through just disaster preparedness in general.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've been focusing on is an early warning system specifically for bagios, but pertaining to actual earthquakes, I'm sure Sir Bry has a little bit more commentary about that fault line.
Sir, kung ganon nga, your partnership typically involves yung sa mga bagyo, sa mga storms and floods, but then has that evolved as well in terms of yung disaster preparedness for mga earthquake, especially considering yung discussion right now about the quote-unquote big one?
First, yung sa Myanmar and Bangkok, the city of Pasig has coordinated with the national NDRMC on sending our personnel or rescue people there to Thailand and Myanmar.
Okay.
So nag-commit muna kami, like the one happened in Turkey before. So why? Because we want to benchmark. First, we want to help. Second, we want to benchmark. Kasi learning yun eh. So you experience actual operations during that time. So that's one. Second is yung plano, mga plans. So we have DRM plans, we have contingency plan for earthquake. So that's also what Julian did in our city. Ginawa niya na nireview niya yung mga BDRM plan, barangay DRRM plans in our city. So chinek niya din yun kung ano yung mga how to capacitate, in preparation for the big one. And ang Pasig naman is matagal, and other cities are preparing for the big one, matagal na. So sobrang tagal na nun. Pero yun nga, we won't ever know kung kailan siya dadating.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now is we keep on pushing for new innovations, new trainings, new plans or updated plans, and syempre we want to learn from other countries like US. We benchmark from them.
Yeah, Julian, how are you learning from all of this? Because I don't think there are a lot of countries around the world. Now, you've been to 50, so you can correct me.
52, but
52,
Oh, wow.
52, sorry, if we're being specific. All right, but when you look at the disaster preparedness that we're trying to anticipate here, sending rescue workers overseas to actually get real-world experience, to planning for an earthquake. I don't think a lot of countries in general anticipate earthquake of this scale on a regular basis. What are your own personal learnings from this experience so far when it comes to disaster preparedness that you feel could be exported in a future post as well?
And that's one of the pillars of Peace Corps in general. So there's 3 pillars of Peace Corps, if I could go back to it really fast, is the sharing of the expertise expertise that I can bring, and then certainly that they can shed light to me, as well as exchanging American culture, and then ultimately exchanging the Filipino culture that I have since more so recently found out. Again, it is sharing that expertise. We can certainly learn from each other about what y'all do here versus what we do back in the U.S., and that exchange is imperative, I think, to just development and understanding in general. The first week I think I got here, there was Typhoon Christine, and so to see the icy, that was
Actual operation.
Wow.
yeah, my room flooded. It was great. Yeah, I know, right? Like it was fabulous. So seeing the ICP, the Incident Command Post, get established, it was right down my hallway. Seeing those operations in motion, it was very interesting to see, and the operations are so exquisite, and there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of things to go in, and that's something that I've witnessed it in the U.S., but I work for smaller municipalities back home, so it's interesting to have so many people in the same room just exchanging all this information, the Philippine National Army, the education sector, all the stuff. So that's stuff, and that's expertise and knowledge I can take back to be like, hey, these are new ideas, or these are some things that they did that certainly we could probably bring back to the States and learn from y'all. So.
And it's interesting now that we're talking about the shared ideas. You talked about it earlier. You brought an idea from Wilmington, North Carolina, where you're from, which, if people don't know, that is the beach, the coastal areas. So you brought what the basically what the lifeguards do there with the flags, the flag system here to warn the Filipino people about oncoming typhoons. So can you talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been shared on some of the photos that I brought. I wish I had brought the flags, but we pass them out to the barangays. So the flags have already been passed out to 5 pilot barangays. Back in the U.S., we do deal with hurricanes or typhoons. We have a less exquisite and developed set of warning flags. It's pretty generic. You have a you have a tropical storm, or you have a hurricane. You have 1 flag for a storm, and then you have for a hurricane 2 flags. It's very simple. What we did here is we took PAGASA, so the Filipino Atmospheric Geophysical Astronomical Services Administration. They have tropical cyclone signals warnings 1 through 5. Different colors, different logos, and there's the example of it right up there.
There's Cignal number 3, yellow.
Yes. So what Sir Bryant had mentioned earlier is going through each of these barangay DRRMO plans, several of them wanted to have an early warning system, an EWS, for people with disabilities, for PWDs. The early warning systems, to my knowledge, that Pasig has is going to be the river gauges, and then it also has a PA system.
Right.
The PA system is not feasible, and it's not lucrative for someone if they're hard of hearing or they're deaf, or if it's compromised, if the PA system's damaged. What these flag systems will do is taking the national standard of 1 through 5, and when they're flown, any of us can go.
So visual.
Visual. It's a visual one. It's manpower driven. It's not dependent on electricity. It's not dependent on wiring. If the PA system is damaged, you just have these flags, and you'll be able to visually know, oh, that one's orange. That's tropical cyclone signal number 3. Within 24 hours, I expect those type of winds to be here. So it's a very established system. It's much more in-depth compared to the U.S., which I love. Like, that's awesome, because our 1 through 5, it's a similar scale, but it's not as, I don't think it's as knowledgeable as PAGASA's system. So we've basically taken it and put into an EWS for PWDs.
Sir Bryant, when you if I'm not mistaken, 5 barangays yung pilot test in terms of this. Is there plans already to expand it? And of course, how's the reception been, yung effectivity niya in your early stages right now?
Out of the 5 barangays, tuwan-tuwa yung mga barangay chairperson. So, like Cap Kin and Cap Gab, right? Nag-signify kaagad na we want more. So,
You want more flags?
yeah, we want more flags.
Okay.
We want more flags kasi nga, they have big barangays, and definitely our target is to replicate this also to our other 25 barangays. So in Pasig there are 30 barangays. So what we're planning to do with EWS is to replicate this one to all the barangays, not only to that 5, and to add more flags.
Well, napakasimple, sir. When you take a look at the concept, just a visual benchmark of the whatever signals or whatever warning that needs to be done. Sa palagay niyo po, do you feel that at least based on your early implementation, that there actually needs to be that this is actually a more effective way of disseminating information and for your early warning based on the early returns, sir?
In Pasig kasi we're always innovating.
Yeah.
So we're always looking for some innovations na pwede nating gayahin, gawin, at i-implement sa Pasig. Meron tayong high-tech, meron tayong hindi kailangan ng power, which is ito nga, flag. So nakita namin, parang sinabi sa amin ni Julian na try natin tong EWS na to. In English, in English.
Yeah. No, I did not do that in Tagalog.
So try natin to. So kami naman, syempre, innovations. He reviewed the DRRMO plans, parang ito, kailangan nga ito, EWS. Kulang nga yung mga post-painting, kulang nga yung mga PA system natin, kulang nga yung mga rain gauges, water level sensors natin. So, let's try. Malay natin, di ba? In the future, ito na yung gayahin ng other LGUs, di ba?
Yeah.
Na flag markers or flag as EWS.
Yeah.
In other LGUs.
Yeah. Because no one has a monopoly on good ideas.
Right. Now, I want to ask you a personal question.
Oh, here we go.
How has it been like assimilating here in the Philippines? Because I know, like right now, with the Taglish going on, I know you're not really following.
Yeah.
So how has it been like?
I know you too, Mo.
yeah. Just pretend like I know.
I just stare and I
you know?
smile like, yeah.
Exactly.
They're like, do you know what you just asked? No? Oh, okay.
Context
Perfect.
clues.
Yeah, exactly. So I have visited the Philippines a couple different times. Again, my mom is very Filipina. She moved to the States when she was 38, and she's still a citizen of the Philippines and not an American. So I'm pretty familiar with Filipino culture. At least I thought I was.
Yeah.
And then you get here, it's different.
Yeah, and then I get here, and like very much like Filipino time is very much a thing. This and that. Riding my first jeepneys by myself. It's very interesting. It's very hands-on. I love it. It's exhilarating. It's fun. The times I would visit the Philippines was always in Cebu. So, and we would get shepherded into the vans. We all have to go together to go to SM and this and that.
Yeah.
And so now I'm living in the big city, and they're like, "Ay, are you going to be okay, Manila?" I was like, "I think so. I think I'll be fine." Like,
So, okay ba siya? Like, is he doing okay?
Okay siya. As in, she works with our staff and personal. Hindi siya workmate lang eh. Kaibigan siya as a friend.
Right.
So, na-develop niya yun with our staff na naging friend niya, kasama niya kumain, kasama niya mag-jogging.
Yeah.
You understand that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, okay. That's
Smile
good
with credit, yeah,
He
yeah.
just said you're a friend.
perfect.
Or
Good to know.
Perfect
are you?
friend.
I'll take that.
Well, you know what, guys? It was such a fun conversation, and I hope that you guys enjoyed your time here at the
Absolutely.
Billionaire Studio. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
this
you.
morning.
You.
We
Someone
really
else.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Julian, go ahead and say salamat.
Oh, Salma Po.
Pwede na.
That's cute. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I sound like pala. That was Julian Grifee, Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Program Officer with the U.S. Peace Corps, and Bryant Wong, Chief of Pasig City DRRMO. Salamat, guys.
Thank you.